Good evening, everyone. Welcome. These are open discussions which we do on Wednesday, Friday, and Sundays. And in these calls, we share our experiences, we talk about the topic, and whatever questions we have, whatever stories we have, we just talk about it openly. So these calls are not one-way interactive calls where we deliver something to you, but these are two-way calls where we welcome all of you to participate with us and share your viewpoints and your experiences and what you think about the topic. And today's topic is loneliness. And I don't think anybody here on the call has not gone through it personally. So at some or the other point of time, we all feel lonely. So I'm sure all of you have some or the other story to share with everyone. Now, there are a few people who are new to this call, so I just want to tell them that please participate. And how do you participate is you can either raise your hand or you can just unmute yourself and start talking. So we will keep this conversation today because this is like a really vast topic. So we will keep it contextual and we will see in which direction the call flows. And whenever you have any questions, you want to ask something, you can just, sometimes even you can put it in the message box. We will read the message or you can talk. So let's begin the conversation. So, any of you who would like to kickstart the conversation by sharing your experience or with a question, you can go ahead. So, anybody who is like currently going through this phase where you feel lonely, like frequently or often. So, please start the conversation. Yes, please, Divya, go ahead.
So, as I was just telling, I had a great married life, and me and my husband were extremely close with each other. We, every day, every evening, post dinner, we both used to sit together. That was the fixed routine. We used to sit, we used to talk, and we used to just kind of, have some time to ourselves. Maybe we would share a drink or two, but we would generally do it almost on the daily basis. And we were very close. Two of us were happy together, being in each other's company, plus very, very active socially. After I lost him, my life has totally, totally changed. Yes, I won't say that I'm unhappy. I'm doing decent for myself, my kids, work-wise, it's okay. Financially, it's all okay. But then I do have this loneliness. I have friends, but my friends, being from army fraternity, my friends are in different places. Uh, I have a couple of one, two school friends who at times come down. We do talk on phone regularly, but I do miss the connection, that connect which I had with my husband. I would put it like that. So, friends, yes, my sister, my friends, very close to me, but I don't think so. That space can be taken, at least in my life. I have not been able to give that space to that kind of void. Nobody has filled what my husband got for me. I, uh, I'm open. Initially, I wasn't open to relationships. I thought that I would be able to sustain without one when I lost him, but I realized that maybe it's not possible for me. I do need no, I don't need anybody for financial or physical support, but I need somebody for being with me, emotionally. Because of course, kids have their own life, and this is totally my personal take. I'm talking, so not speaking in general. This is I'm talking about my scenario. So I
Yeah.
felt, I think I do want that one male in my life I can be emotionally connected to, with whom I can share my daily talks, daily routine. Maybe when I'm dressed up, I can just share a pic and that space I can have. So, yes, I do miss that bad. And yeah, I think I do miss that bad. But at the same time, I have not been approached by a couple of guys. I have been. somehow I'm not able to click to anyone. I don't know. I just don't know how to do that actually, because with my, like, if I talk about me, I was 20 when I met him, and I was 38 when I lost him. So it has been always that one guy in my life. I never went, uh, I've been never into any kind of flings also while we were together, or any kind of any second thing in my life. So I don't even know how to get connected. So I don't know how to go for my second innings if I want to. Plus, I'm not very confident. I want to be, to how to have that those trust issues, how to trust somebody like that, in such scenarios. I don't know if I'm able to explain myself, but yeah,
Of course you are. Yeah, so
I
this
think that's
your
it from my side.
situation.
I can go on and on, but that's it from my side.
Yeah, no. I guess your situation is a little different from how people usually feel lonely. Sometimes we just don't have people around, and or maybe we are alone at home, and that's a very different situation compared to what you're talking about, because this is not just loneliness. This is a part of it, but there's a grieving process involved in this, because you have lost like somebody, like a really important part of your life,
Good
right?
evening,
And
everyone.
yeah, good evening. Yeah, you've lost somebody who has been an integral part of your life, and getting over with this, or maybe even when we if we use the word like finding yourself new, and anything like that, that's not really what we can say about this, because this is a process. And after losing somebody whom you have loved so much, and it's almost half of your life, and those years have been the part of your major adult life, and you've almost lived your adult life with that one person. So yeah, let's see. Let's go further in this conversation, and let's see what we can get out of this for you. Yeah. Seema, anything you want to add?
I just want to say that I feel lonely. In fact, I should say that I have started lately observing myself is that I have set of friends to move around, to meet, and to connect deeply. I do have a big family, but I feel very lonely in terms of like I'm not able to connect much with people. In the sense I feel saturated. Sometimes I feel that why I'm even doing this. So like I make my effort to go out and meet different people, but sometimes I feel that why I'm even doing this, because I'm like lonely also at the same time. I'm like not okay. I don't know how to put up this thing, but yeah, loneliness is there, and I'm not liking it in the sense that because of this feeling of loneliness, I try and go and connect with people, meet them, but there somewhere I start feeling very disconnected and lost, in the sense that I feel that, I mean, this is what I wanted to say, Anamika. I wanted to even ask, what is this exactly? Is it loneliness, or I feel very lost and disconnected, basically.
Yeah, it is loneliness. um, yeah, there are other factors involved in it, but it is, we can call it, yes, being lonely, because you feel disconnected.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Let's hear from Payal as well. Payal, anything you want to say?
Actually, I so agree with Seema because I'm also going through the same phase. I have a very good circle of friends and family, but obviously the void is there. But actually, I'm not able to. मैं अपने आप को ही नहीं समझ पा रही हूँ that what exactly I want, because there are few people who approach, or but then I feel very disconnected. I feel very lost. Ki what am I doing? So loneliness is there. There is a void which, and you are looking for a partner, but what you are looking for, I am also totally confused. So today only I was discussing with my friend, and she was also saying कि मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कि तुझे क्या चाहिए. And I said कि मुझे भी नहीं पता what I want.
Right. So let's explore this a little deeper. So before we go further into the conversations, let's get into a story of all of us, not just me, you, all of us. So when we were children, right? So we are a kind of species who are like not born like a giraffe or an elephant who just come down from their mother's belly and they start walking. So basically we are a species which doesn't know how to walk, which doesn't know what to eat, which doesn't know what to do. So we are born, and then we have to rely on other people, and especially the first person, which is our mother, and we have to rely on her for food, for that connection, right? And we have to rely on our survival, right? And because we have to rely on our survival, and that is the first thing that we require when we are growing up, right? So first we start confusing this survival with love and connection, right? So there are two different things. If you have uh, observed a child, or if you go back to your childhood, so there's always this internal kind of a system which is always telling you that you're hungry, so cry, so you'll get food, right? You you just pooped and you cry, so maybe somebody would come up and clean you. So there are things, you're so connected with your body, you're so connected with your needs, and you're so connected with just things guiding you one moment at a time. But as we are growing up, we grow a little older, we start going to school, and people start training us or teaching us that, okay, if you have to be a good girl or you have to be a good boy, then if you do this, then you'll get this. And if you do that, then you'll get that. And if you don't do it, then you're a bad girl or you're a bad boy. And all of these external reward systems are created, right? So now, as we are growing up as children, we get like really confused that my body is saying something else, that I feel hungry, right? And I need food and I want to eat. But then my parents are telling me something else, right? And it kind of creates splits between us, where we are confused that whether we follow the internal mechanism, the internal guidance system, or we follow the external guidance system. But because when we were born as a child and we were accustomed to depending on others for our survival, we tend to depend ourselves based on the external mechanism and getting things externally. And when we go to school, then we make the great grading system the part of the reward mechanism, or maybe love and connection from friends as a part of reward mechanism, right? So we start kind of deleting or erasing our internal guidance mechanism and meeting our needs that way. And to get that love and connection and support and everything, because that is important for our survival. So if anybody has gone through like an excruciating breakup, it's just scientifically proven that the kind of emotional pain or trauma it causes, it's not very different from physical pain. So we actually feel like dying because our survival is, we confuse our survival so much with love. And the moment we feel that somebody is going away from me, there is a lack of love, because our minds are now confused between love and survival. We think that our survival is threatened. And what happens when the survival is threatened? We feel that we will die, right? And that's so basically, now why am I telling all this story? So this story is very much highly linked to why we feel lonely, right? Because as we are growing up, not just from the age of 5, 6, but from the age of 2, 3 also, we develop our the only way for us to get something is through the external to meet the needs is through the external reward system. And when that external reward system is shaken, we don't know then how we can meet our needs and wants and what we desire. And that feels like we lack love. And because we have confused love with survival, we feel we'll die. And every time we lose people or we don't get these things met from the external system, we feel lonely because we feel that now we have lost connection, right? So this is kind of, the story of originating back. So we this is also interlinked to how we have grown as species because our primal brains. Now let's talk about the times when we were living in jungles and going around and searching for food, right? So our primal system is very much survival based. So even that is being passed on to us through our DNAs, and that is another reason why we confuse survival with love. So this kind of leads us to all kinds of things, right? The need to get things done because of by doing passive aggressive behaviors, maybe emotionally manipulating people, maybe people pleasing, or feeling lonely, right? So all of these things, all of these different variety or areas of things are coming out from the same root. And if we had to give one word to this whole scenario happening, is separation, right? So the moment there is separation, any kind of separation, right? So a lot of people who in spiritual circles, when we talk about, so they use this word, that I'm feeling disconnected spiritually. So I'm not feeling like I'm connected or being guided by my higher self. That separation, it can be separation like mm, separating from your spouse, your partner, your maybe your friends, maybe people around. And it is also separation from yourself, right? And that separation threatens our survival, and we feel lack of love. And that's when we start feeling that, oh, now I'm gonna die and I'm lonely and there's nobody to save me, nobody to help me survive, and nobody who's going to love me. So that's the whole story of this. So like you were sharing, Payal, and you were also sharing about your how you feel, Seema. So
Yeah.
by any chance, could you connect to the story that how this could be interlinked to what you're going through?
Yeah, actually, I feel that maybe that fear of rejection is there. So you
Mm-hmm.
mm, kind of like for me, what I can say is that I have built a shield around myself, so I don't let people enter that, and if they try to get too close, so I start feeling uncomfortable. So I kind of prefer it this way is that okay, I'm fine on my own. I don't know how much is this related to this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, for me, definitely it is not rejection or actually feeling like what I feel is I'm little disconnected with my own self, and I'm not getting that space in time. Although, I mean, I have, if somebody else look at my life, they'll say that you have got plenty of time. But still, I don't get that time for my own self where I want to like do something or maybe feel disconnected. Like, say, supposing from so many days, I'm thinking that I want to do some kind of meditation because it connects me with me, but I'm not able to. So I can feel that, chaos in my own self, and I I'm becoming little emotionally balanced now, but my emotions now are not like overflowing like they used to be in the past. Like I was overly emotional, imbalanced person, used to overshare, people please, all the things that you just said, narrated in the story. Yeah, it was there, but now I'm like saturated. But most of the times I'm not like feeling lonely, but there are times where loneliness hits me in a very different phase type of a thing, where like supposing I'm like very busy entire day, and I get little time to just myself. Maybe I'm reading a book. At that time, something really hits me hard. I don't know what part is that, how to even address it. At that time, I'm like feeling that, oh, if I had somebody, I could just talk, that what I'm feeling. So I start feeling very chaotic inside, and like feeling like what to do. Maybe sometimes this feeling also that, yeah, maybe I'll be left all alone. I am alone. This is how life is. So maybe I'm kind of like taking time to accept the entire situation, although I have superficially, but I think actually adapting it is going to take a little bit of time, and also because the process of separation is going on, so there are like on off bouts of emotions that I don't show it to everybody, but they are inside me. So yeah, this is what I feel, and I could resonate with whatever you were sharing with us, Anamika. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Seema and Payal. So, uh, Asima, there are other factors involved in whatever you're going through, and I guess it's the same for Payal. But when it comes to feeling lonely specifically, so Payal shared about that, her pattern that she fears that she will be rejected, right? But the whole point, and
And
you said that you don't,
kind
yeah, Payal.
I feel like I've kind of given up. कि
Hmm.
ऐसे ही होगा, like men are like that, so you won't be finding someone, so you have to live like this.
Right,
This is
right.
how life will be.
Right. So even though what Seema said and what you said are not exactly um, similar, but they are like really different situations, and both of you are coming out from different set of fears. But the point of feeling lonely is that you're also feeling lonely, even if you have given up, and even if you fear rejection or you push people away. The whole point is that still your um, um, the basis of getting that love, that a need of love and connection met, is still the external guidance system only. And like Seema, when Seema was talking, and she when she was sharing her story, she also mentioned the same thing, right? That it somewhere is still about following this external guidance system. Why I'm focusing so much on this? Because when we get this, when we get people, when we get friends, when we get the rewards of whatever we do, let's suppose I get a gift for you, and then you say that thank you so much, you're the best person in the world. Or maybe I I get some like I do some like really good deeds. I donate um, a lot of my clothes or a lot of my things, money. I'm donating all those things, and then people come and let's say praise me that, oh my god, you're such a big person, and then I feel good about it because it is my reward mechanism. So when it doesn't happen, right, and we have developed a dependency on it, we feel lonely. that now it's not happening. So the moment it is taken away from us, we feel this void that now it's not there. And because now we have not learned how to use the internal guidance system, we have forgotten how to use that, and maybe how to be alone and be happy, or maybe do something. We did not depend upon that. We did depend upon the rewards we get externally. When external things are removed, we are left with no choice but we end up feeling lonely.
Can I add something to this? Namta, you done?
Yeah, please do.
Okay. Just one thing before anyone says anything on this point, I just wanted to add one thing to this. Um, so she shared a basic human psychology behind this, right? Now, this may sound very dry and very emotionless. This is what I wanted to add. That this could sound very analytical in nature. That this is how it is, because perhaps people are remembering people who are not there in their life, or who are separated. Is that they feel, but I wasn't. It's not about that. I was after a reward from that person or anything. So I want to say that, for at least for this conversation, just create that separation between the person and the reward system. Don't make it about the person. So don't evaluate this point from the person's point of view. Obviously, that person you loved a lot and they loved you. All those emotions and all those feelings are intact. We are not questioning that part. But to understand, as Payal also said, that I don't know why I'm feeling lonely. I don't know. So many people are having this kind of thing, that although I'm meeting other people, but still I don't know what I'm looking for. I don't know. So if you really want to get in the detail of that, that what is stopping you, what is happening, then evaluate this question not from the angle of the person who was giving you, because it's not about the person, whether they are there in your life or not there in your life. It's not about the person. It's about your reward system we are talking about.
Okay,
So,
right.
evaluate it from that angle. Don't make it about the person. Don't feel like as if we are disrespecting their memories or disrespecting them by saying these kind of things. Uh, Otherwise, you will not actually get to the bottom of it. So it's not about disrespecting someone's memories, or making it sound so so beige and so dry that it is like very putting it in a very scientific way, or like that. It's not that. It's about your reward system, that every time we have been motivated. So when that reward system is not there and you are not, so what kind of reward system you were receiving in those um, relationships? I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example to clarify this a bit more. That, let's say, when we are doing so for addictions, I do this NLP techniques to help people come out of addictions. So let's say, for example, I'm working with someone to get them out of food addiction. So one of the things that we do, there's a technique called anchoring, and and in that one, what we do is we find the anchor, that what is it that this person finds in the food that they are addicted to. So if we just take it away, if we take food away from the person, or if we take cigarettes away from the person, or if we take alcohol away from the person, they go in a withdrawal mode, because body is used to it. Your body and mind are used to it. So we cannot do that. We have to find a replacement. So we have to give the mind another thing to focus on. That is how NLP works. So we identify what they are anchored to, we collapse that anchor, and we create another anchor, another more healthy anchor. So we move the focus of the mind from one to the other. So that way, the change becomes so instantaneous, and they move from one anchor to the other. This, what we are talking, is finding that anchor. Then what is it that you are hooked to in that thing, which you are now looking? So although you are looking in another person, another human being, but you're still looking for the same anchor only. That is the same thing. So you're still looking for the same thing. So once you separate yourself from the memories of the person and try to find the reward system, you will be able to then identify who else is capable of giving that to you. Does that make it clear?
Definitely. Thank
Yes.
you so
Yeah.
much. Akarna, I have a question here. So, for a very long time, if people unknowingly being like many things we are coming to know now, like I'm talking about myself, uh, codependency is a kind of a pattern for me. So, for a very long time, if I've been in codependent relations, can this feeling come up because of that also? Because now those codependent relationships I've removed from my life, and I don't want to be like dependent on anybody for some time because I really want to understand what is happening. And like I said, that I'm just focusing on myself. So for this feeling can come from that, right? Because you've been for a very long time in codependent relationships, and now suddenly you are like have nothing.
Yes,
So maybe
suddenly that system is gone. So you were you so once again we use the term anchoring over here. That you were anchored for something you were getting, some reward you were getting, some pleasure. Either you like the way the other person talks or whatever. So there was something you used to feel good. So whatever that reward system is, whether they made you feel good or whatever.
Mm,
So um, whether that's a codependent relationship, a toxic relationship, any relationship, until we are hooked to someone, there is something we are gaining from them. So the
right.
idea is to identify what do we gain from it, so that we can change the focus and still gain the same thing, but in a different way.
Or maybe we can still gain the same thing this because we are here to experience, relationships as well. In fact, we are here to experience relationships only. So we're still going to do the same things and give the same way, receive the same way. But the difference is that um, the external reward system is not our only focus. We are not only externally guided. So when we are not only externally guided, then what will happen that when it goes away or when it's not there, we wouldn't get into this withdrawal mode. That ये वाला तो मैंने सीखा नहीं था, अब मैं क्या करूं? मुझे तो सिर्फ एक्सटर्नली रिवॉर्ड सिस्टम आता था, right? So it's not that you stop enjoying or being in relationships, giving and receiving in relationships. That would be there, but you're not all like totally dependent and attached to it. That if only this happens, then I'll be happy. And and Seema, when you were talking, I was just thinking that it's not easy, right? What Because it's like years and years and years of a way of living, right? So it's like you keep asking questions in the group about if it has become your pattern or it has gotten soaked in your body, and that is true because body is a collection of memories, right? So in fact, our whole body is a collection of memory, and to wipe it out or to dissolve the memory is not something which just happens just like that. So for different people, the timelines differ. Some people get over it in a month, some take a year, some take even 2 years, and it releases itself over a period of time for different people. But it's there, right? So it's yeah. I mean, it's natural and normal that it comes back, and then you go through it, and then you get over it, but then it comes back again. So yeah, that goes through its own cycles. And of course, I mean that's a really important thing you added, Karma. I in fact wanted to say that it's your loneliness we are talking about. So it has nothing to do with um, your relationships or even changing them or anything, the guidance system is yours, be it external or internal. So all we are talking about is, each one of us.
Thank you so much for explaining so well.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Seema. Anybody else would like to say something? Yes, Sajal.
Yeah, hello everyone. So, like, that's my first time joining this series of calls, and I had a question, and it's like for all of us, there is always some kind of an inner critic that keeps us telling us stories. So, like, definitely, the stories are definitely going to be troublesome, and which explain us why we are lonely or why the bad things continue to happen to us or why we are being stuck in the toxic patterns. Like we just try to just like it just like we just try to justify our weird patterns due to by these stories. And you have talked about guidance system, and I actually feel that with that guidance system we would be able to understand that which of the like what are the things that can be worked upon, like when uncontrollable thoughts happen. It's I don't think that it's like that we have to work upon everything. Like we can definitely not work upon each of those thoughts and uh, uh, gain something from it. So like it's quite simply how to understand the guidance system, how to get access to it, and how to be able to utilize that so that we ask the right kind of questions and we try to find the right kind of solutions.
Okay. So the first question you asked is that how do we recognize, our guidance system,
Yes.
right? So to recognize our guidance system now, because this is so ingrained in us, like ingrained in our blood and bones, right? So when we talk about following the external guidance system, so basically our parents told us that, to get what you need, don't follow your needs and wants, follow mine, and then you'll get what you need, right? So I'm not blaming anybody's parents, my parents, or anybody, but that's how it is. I'm not saying it's their fault or anything, because it's literally the code or imprint which has been going on, but that's how it happens. And because it happens at such a small age, it gets into the flesh and bone and blood and everywhere in like all parts of us. So now for you to access your natural rhythm, your natural way of, choosing things, making decisions, going anywhere, doing anything, and that then requires a lot of cleansing to happen, because it's like कि हम सब कुछ भूल जाते हैं, right? Because the only way we learn to get our needs met is by first meeting, doing something. So it becomes an exchange mechanism, right? So इसके लिए then you have to go on this journey where, you have to recognize your belief systems, your conditionings, how you're conditioned, where you're coming from, why you do what you do, right? Once, and there is a lot of trauma involved in it, and there's a reason for it. The reason is because it's the origin of the same story. Every time we suppress the internal guidance system and we followed only the external reward system, every time we did that, we told ourselves no, right? And when we told ourselves no just to say yes to people around us and get something from them, we create splits within ourselves. There's a lot of fragmentation happening, because there are parts of us which feel that maybe I don't deserve, maybe I'm not worthy, maybe I'm not good enough, and all those kind of belief systems which we create. So identifying, bringing awareness, then healing, going to each part of you. Like we talk about self-love so much, but self-love is actually loving all parts of self, all that you're made of. And when you love all that you're made of, you will end up loving and cleansing your, internal guidance system, because then you will be integrating yourself. Abito, it's like that. There are so many fragments or splits. But when you start doing this work, when you integrate all of it, maybe you still end up doing the same things which you would rather do, but the space has changed. Now you're not operating from your wounded state. Now you're doing things because you want to do things, not because you have to get something from somebody, right?
Hmm.
And you'll anyway, I mean, this is um, a transactional universe. So हमें कुछ, let's suppose you are my friend, okay, and I want to spend time with you, and I call you and tell you, सजल यार मेरे को बहुत ऐसे बोर हो रहा है, प्लीज तू आ जा, ठीक है, and you tell me कि नहीं अनामिका, I'm busy, right? So if I attach myself to, this thing that I get rejected, and I go back to that origin story ki, if this happens, then I start feeling that I'm not good enough. I say ki, okay, Sajal is busy, so let me call another friend of mine, let me call Seema if she's free. And if both of you are not free, then I'll be like, okay, fine, some other time let me do what I want to do, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean that it makes us like emotionless, that we won't be hurt or anything, right? But maybe we can feel that, oh, Sajal is so busy that he doesn't make time for me at all. I'll feel bad for 5 minutes, and then I'll be like, okay, fine, abhi ho gaya to ho gaya, let me do what I want to do. Yeah. So that's the whole long story short. You got your answer?
Yes, Anamika, I have.
Right.
Thanks.
So, Sajal, if you don't mind, can I ask that what did you understand from this conversation?
Yes, Karma. So what I have understood is like first of all, it's a kind of unraveling of the layers, trying to understand the what like first of all, like throughout from all of this conversation, if I have to just kind of simplify it, then it is just trying to understand with an unbiased mindset of the patterns or of the transactions that I have attempted to hold, like the transactions that have made me not try to access from the center, but uh, like what are the reasons that have made me engage in behaviors of people pleasing or just doing the things that might not have even felt right at that moment. So uh, like first of all just trying to understand those kind of patterns, and then maybe the rest, the second part of this, it starts becoming clearer. Like once we just tend to get hold of those patterns, I think the next steps become clear. Like if this has been done in the past and if this has caused such a consequence, then probably this action doesn't need to be repeated again. Or uh, I think, yeah, like I think.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Sajal. Lali, your hand is up. Do you want to say something?
Okay, thank you, Akarma. Hi, everyone. Um, I have not, I've come in late now, and I have not specifically I have not heard specific issues here. I heard Anamika speak the last 5 minutes, and so I'll just add in my own words. If it is useful to somebody, I thought I will speak. Um, so basically, I read the topic as loneliness. So, loneliness, a person who's lonely, uh, every one of us will have different degrees and their situations may be different. But I can speak about a yardstick uh, that one can apply. Anamika did mention self-love. I heard her. But am I audible now? Am I better?
Yeah,
Yes,
this is
thank you
better.
so much.
Sorry about that. Okay. So, loneliness, I feel loneliness in my experience, loneliness in my exploration. Uh, um, I have found that, and my learning, I found that it's how much closer to doing what you love to do, and everybody's circumstance would be different. I agree, but when you know the picture, a big picture is there, and there in the picture or the frame, where are you lost? So it would see some people may need a lot of guidance. Yes, it's how much we have explored ourselves, how much we know about ourselves and our interests. So many of us would need outside help, but on our own, what can we do? How much can you occupy yourself? How much time do you have? How much can you, even if you do a small thing for yourself, connecting to yourself? See, I'm not talking about closed eye meditation for everybody. It's not applicable for, it's not good for everyone to have a closed eye meditation. Or, a person who's feeling very low may not necessarily feel good with a closed eye meditation. But, if you love doing something that takes your mind away, your thoughts away, do that. And how much of your time during the day you can do uh, that to take away. So, how much you are comfortable with your own company. So, the more you get used to doing things, how you can keep yourself occupied without another person's assistance. Because at some time or the other, we may have to spend time on our own. So, how much we all have self love. We all love ourselves the most because when it comes to life, or even in a case where there's no food, all the food in the world is over and you are hungry, we may reach out for that. So, it's a basic thing. So, we all love ourselves the most. So, we need to, feed our soul. That is, we have to love being with ourselves. So, what do? We have to up our quotient. So, in the end, we are all judging ourselves. So, what do you like? So, how much closer to your judgment are you? So, if you work on that, see, I I can only say in a general way, but everybody, even if one person can, get help with this, that's one way of doing it.
So, Lali, I think it will be helpful for people to get help if you can share how you applied this in your case. So, whatever you are saying, how have you done this? So, if you can share a story from your personal experience, that would actually be helpful more.
Yes. Okay. For example, my husband and I have different interests. Uh, he likes sports and animals and film and many kind of things. I don't mind any of those things, but when I do that, I don't feel full enough. I can do all that provided there are many other things that I've done. So, for example, exploring the philosophy, or finding my truth, or occupying myself, painting, uh, nature, uh, sports, my own way, whatever, walking, keeping fit, uh, whatever I do all that. Or and even I have got a sense of my time. See, time is very important. For example, if my husband is a late sleeper, but then I'm an early riser. I
Lalit,
find yes,
just to be, just so that we are on track in the conversation, the topic is about loneliness.
yes.
So how is this connecting with the topic of loneliness? I'm just trying to understand that.
Uh, See, loneliness actually comes when you are not connected with yourself. Because we are trying to connect ourselves through another person. Uh, See, people are actually, we are habituated to things and people, even friends. It's a habit. All these are not, these are all passing. So when you know what is not passing, what actually stays is your center. So when you are more connected to the center, you have stability. You have you Tomorrow you can do what you have done today more better than what you if you are connecting with another person. See, lucky if you may have the same friend all the time, but you're always connected to yourself.
So
More,
I'll again interrupt
yes,
you. So your point is clear. I get that what you're saying. However, for the sake of people on this call, I would say maybe you need to take few steps back and tell us how you reached this stage. So you're saying we need to reach this, and I'm saying how did you reach? That surely would be helpful. So how
as a
did you pass
child.
that stage where you are not dependent on the other person anymore? Or were you like this from childhood only, or earlier you were dependent on this and then you did something and now you're not? So that would be helpful.
I am a people person. Basically, I like people around me. But there's a time when the marriage doesn't give me people. Like, I'm a people person, but my husband has select type of people, and he also don't go. He's very self adequate, so I don't find as much people as I love to have around me. So, although I do meet, but over time, I found that I can connect it. But there are times when you enjoy also going out. But on my own, also, if I have to spend time, I am okay because it's when our minds are not occupied that you are lonely. When you are outside the mind, when outside
And
you are
what did you do to become okay with that?
I attend a lot of classes which I love. I learn more about this. I work on it. And I'm totally okay. I don't feel lonely because I've always got things that I like to do.
Can you also share what kind of classes, what did you attend? I'm just asking these questions so people on the call can
I
benefit from
do
this.
Vedic studies. I do Vedic studies, and my insights have helped people. Uh, I give. If somebody asks me, sometimes when people are down, they do reach out to me. Maybe they don't reach out to me on all days, but when they are down, they reach out to me. So uh, I'm able to help people also and around me. I also have a dog who's always around me, but I don't actually look after him too much. I take him for a walk sometimes, but my husband looks after him, but he's around. So I never feel lonely. I feel there's always, I'm not alone.
Okay,
I don't feel alone.
okay,
Thank you.
okay. Great. Thanks. That's very helpful, Lali. Uh, Charan, you have your hand up. You want to say something?
Yeah, maybe I can answer here. So, because I live in Sweden, Sweden is like one of the most loneliest country. So it is very hard to make friends, and I suffered a lot here after coming to Sweden. So I have been living here for the last 5 years. So what made me like to come out of how I created my own happiness? Like I suffered a lot because of maintaining my emotions, like staying alone, and the weather is very extreme, and it is very difficult to make friends. And what I have done is like for me, uh, I have gone through lots of kind of spiritual awakening, trying to understand, okay, why do I need an external person or an external event that needs to be happen for me to be happy? Like, I always think about like how can I be happy irrespective of what happens, irrespective of where I am. So I started with that question. So then I started seeking answers, like exploring different things, and I found a good recipe for myself. Like for me, the having a very powerful morning routine. Like I start with my day with like 1 hour meditation, and I go to gym then. So like I'm also including self love here. So like when I am following these conscious practices, like okay, doing meditation and making sure like consciously, okay, what is running in my mind, what is happening with myself. So consciously asking, daily journaling my thoughts and thinking like how my thoughts are going. So I have created a very perfect routine in my life. Like now I'm like very happy. So it is, though I am single, though I live alone, so I have created all these routines and exploring more myself. So this is how I have created my own happiness.
Okay. Very good. Thanks, Charan. Trisha, you had your hand up. You want to say something, or you?
Yeah, I did want to say something, but then I was worried if it might sound, offensive. But anyway, um, see, I think there are two things, right? One is loneliness in the context of wanting somebody in your life. And the other thing is loneliness when you're all by yourself and not being okay with being alone by yourself. And a lot of people don't even know how to be with themselves. But just because you've learned self love and you're okay being with yourself, you're okay taking yourself out to a restaurant and having a meal all alone, does not, uh, exclude the fact that you want a person in your life. And that's okay. It's completely okay to want that connection. So while I completely understand what Lali was trying to say about like self love and do things that you like. You don't always have to depend your partner and share the same interest. You can build your own life independent of who your partner is. You still do want a partner in your life, and I think we shouldn't lose sight of the fact that a lot of people in this group feel lonely not because they don't know how to practice self love or are practicing it already at some level, but just because they do not have a partner in their life for whatever reason. And let's not mix the two. It's not an either or situation.
Absolutely.
I'm so glad you said that, Trisha, because I was about to ask the same question that when we go to another side that now I can be all alone and I'm happy and I can practice self love as in like it is something to be practiced, or maybe doing things like going to the restaurant, going to the parties, and being all happy alone. So it's again goes back to another extreme, right? That now I have just understood that I can be happy alone. So being happy alone, that's great. But the thing is that people who say that now I can be all happy alone, innately they are also suffering from loneliness. And in fact, people who maybe evolve or who maybe have a different intellect or have a different understanding of things, not the general, and they do not find people who are just as evolved as them. In fact, they feel lonely, and it's not something that we need to say that it's bad. So it's not ever criteria of saying that this is good or this is bad. It's not at all that. So it's about again finding the balance, because we are living in the world and someday we would need people. For an example, now Charan shared his experiences and what he does now. In his practical scenario, it's just Sweden in itself is kind of a lonely place. I mean, he doesn't have that kind of an option where like in India, wherever you go there are people. So he has to figure out ways for himself to make it work out for them for himself. But the thing is that we all want to connect, and we all, in fact, have this need of love and belonging, right? And it's not about rejecting that need, it's only about figuring out a healthy way of meeting that need, right? So you are not dependent that I'll only meet my need through external stimuli, and it's also not that I'll reject all the external stimuli and now I'll be like a bird on the sky alone. It's about coming to a space where you can you're okay to be alone, and you're okay to find people and to connect with people and to express your love, because we all want to express our love. We want to express how we feel, and how we want to experience our lives. So it's not, again, because if we go in the other extreme, then we would probably be masking it and saying that I'm happy, but internally I'm feeling that I'm not feeling that. It's only being pretentious, it's only being a cover up. It's like putting a balm that, okay, now I don't need people. So that's never going to be the case. We are all interconnected with each other. It's an interdependent system. Even plants and trees and animals and everybody, we all just need uh, uh, you know have that need to belong and to connect. Yeah.
Suchi has her hand up. Suchi, you want to say something?
Yeah, so I was just listening to this conversation and I was thinking that yes, like saying this is not enough, that now I have enough self love and I'm okay to be alone. Because being with other human beings, or we are social beings, we need people with us. So as Anamika also says, always used to say that who don't like to be with people and spend time with them, have quality, meaningful relationship. So, and listening to this conversation, I was thinking that basically we should, for me, how I'm interpreting is, it is like uh, we should learn to be, we should learn to not feel lonely while being with someone. That, I think that used to be my struggle. That because being having an insecure attachment style since childhood, I always used, even and being a people person always, I used to feel lonely even after having people around. So for me, the struggle was to not feel lonely even when I have people with me. So I think this is the main balance that we should look forward to. And what Anamika was saying in one of the conversation, that not operating from the wound itself and operating from the healthy space when you are having a set of people and you have people around. So yeah, that is what I am also working through, that not feel lonely when I have people around.
Yes, yes, and they are very two different things, as Namika also mentioned. That here today's topic is more about um, people who have been in relationships and now they are either separated or missing another person. So, or what stops us from having these kind of healthy relationships? So, having a healthy relationship with self, that's a non-negotiable. But um, that is not a replacement of it. So whether we are in a relationship with another person or whether we are not in a relationship with another person, having a good relationship with self, that self-love part that Lali covered, that's non-negotiable. That's kind of basic. That has to be there. However, that doesn't mean that now we don't have the need to connect with another human being, or we can just live for the rest of our lives in a flat and not have to connect with another human being or anything like that. That's not sustainable. And again, I'm going by 80-20 rule. I'm not saying nobody can do it. Maybe there are people who can just go to Himalayas and just live by themselves. So that is possible. Not saying impossible. But here we are not talking about uh, the extreme cases. We are talking about general cases, more average cases where most people want to have healthy relationships. And the question today is, what stops us from those healthy relationships? What cause this kind of loneliness? Is it coming more from something that we need to look within ourselves and heal ourselves? So maybe we have created good routines for self care and all that. Um, but we believe that self love is not the same thing as self care. When you are having good routines for yourself, that you're doing things for yourself, that's very good thing to do. That's very commendable, looking after yourself. But self love is more than self care, and we covered that earlier also in some previous talks. So today it is we are exploring it from that angle, that what stops us from that, what is coming in the way, that what why we still feel lonely on a planet with 8 billion people. Why do we have to feel lonely? So that is the question.
I think disconnect from our own self, just my opinion, and like not loving ourselves enough, like or in a correct way.
Hmm, hmm.
Maybe because we,
Sajal,
oh, sorry.
just let's just go by. There are people who have got their hands up. So Sajal, you had your hand up first. So you go ahead.
Sure, thanks again.
Then,
Yeah. So, like, I had just the kind of a question that, like, I think a majority of the audience is someone that who have just gone through a separation or a breakup. And suppose after that we heal, we work hard, or we engage in meditations or exercises, or giving ourselves some crap, some gift, or something like that. And so, even after that, suppose we have found some kind of composer or some kind of composer within ourselves, and what shall we do when loneliness happens? Then, like, we would understand that we have to normalize it. So we are at moments like we have started feeling lonely, and we know we are going to just normalize it. But what shall happen after the normalization? Like, like I think there would definitely be some kind of expectations uh, based on the actions that we are doing. So, like, I just want to know that if I am feeling lonely at a certain moment of time and I tell myself that I can normalize it, so after that, what shall I do? Because probably it won't be solving the problem.
can you repeat your question in a different way? So what exactly is the question?
Uh, okay, let me rephrase it. So, yeah, suppose, like, what shall happen at the moment, like what shall happen when we face the thoughts of loneliness that crawls in our minds? So we, like, the first thing that I have gained from this conversation that has been happening is to like to detect the patterns, or the heal ourselves to find the kind of patterns that have been holding us back, and whatever might have held us back in the past, and even normalize it. So, but like, at the moment when the thoughts of loneliness arise, what shall be the action step? Like, what can be done right now if I feel lonely at this moment?
Hmm, hmm. Okay.
Right.
So so there are few things that need to be addressed, as this is a very case by case kind of a thing. Um, let me just try to generalize this, that so that it can help more people. Maybe it will not help everyone, but maybe this answer could help more people than everyone. So first and foremost thing is for us to figure out that why do we need people in our life? Okay, so that's um, okay. Let me take one step back. The assumption over here is that connection, love and connection is basic human need. We are designed to belong. That is our biological nature. We are group animals. We like to live in herd, and this is by design how human beings are. So that's our design, right? So when I say why do we need, so it's the answer is not that because that is our design. Yes, of course, I know that is our design. So that wasn't the question. The next thing that I want to know is, do we need other people because there is some kind of need that I fulfill from it, um, out of neediness, that there is certain things I need as a like a baby who's dependent on fulfilling their needs for survival, finance, love, emotion. So first we need to figure out that is this coming from a need, or am I in this relationship because there is a healthy give and take? So if I say all human beings want love and connection, that means if I am in a relationship with another human being, they also want the same thing from me. But if I am in that relationship only to take and not give, then that becomes unhealthy. And then when that person is gone, when I have taken enough from them, and now that person has got no more to give, they are exhausted and their energy is depleted, they will leave. And then I will feel again left alone, and then I'll be looking for another. That is like a parasite. So then the parasite will be looking for another host. So am I acting like a human being, or am I acting like a parasite over here? That is what I need to first answer that question. So if I'm acting like a human being, then obviously I will be mindful that in a relationship, it's a two-way street. Give and take has to happen. If I want to feel connected and if I want to receive love, I have to also make the other person feel connected, and I also want to make the other person feel love. If I'm only taking, that's unhealthy. That becomes toxic. So then that's gone. Now, if that is happening, then it is an indication of our insecure attachment style. That is what Shuchi was talking about. So the first and foremost thing is to now understand that if more and more people are feeling that way about me, if they are feeling depleted around me, if they are feeling used, then it is somewhere my insecure attachment style that I am ignoring. So I need to work and identify those things. So once that is done, I come into a space where I now have secure attachment style. It is still an attachment style. So I'm still attached, but now I'm attached securely. Securely meaning that I'm not a parasite anymore. I am now a human being. I can now also understand and empathize with another human being, and I can give and take gracefully, give and take openly and freely. So addressing those things will help me to come in this state. Now, when I come in this state, I realize that the other person has their own preferences, their own um, value system, their own interest, and all that. So, if I am in a relationship with another person, then it's not necessarily I have to do everything with them or they have to do everything with me. This is what Lali was talking about, that we can have our own lives also. Still, there will be a love and connection in that relationship. That is there. There is a general compassion. There is some kind of connection is there, but at the same time, we are also recognizing that they can have their own freedom, they can have their own choices, and they can have their own life. I can have my own life. So neither I am questioning them nor I am justifying anything. So that becomes more healthier state that way. So to reach that state, obviously I have to create some kind of self-care routines for myself. I have to um, look after myself in a healthy way and all that. So I become capable of doing that when I first evolved from being a parasite to being a human being. So that. None of this means that we don't need anybody. Now, even after we have done all this, let's say we still can't find another person. Let's say we had one person who we connected with so well. right? So I evolved from being a parasite to a human being. I had a very nice relationship with someone, and let's say for whatever reason now they are not in my life. So there will be a general sense of missing. I would have good memories that the time spent with them and all that will be there. That cannot be replaced by me only saying that I want to have a very healthy um, self care routine and all that, keeping myself engaged in doing things that I'm doing. No, there is that missing part that is there. So now the next thing that we say is there are so many people. No, we continuously use this that there are 8 billion people on earth. Why do we have to feel lonely? Now, if there are any reason, even Charan is talking about Sweden, okay, as much lonely place that might be, there will still be people living there. So what is the reason? Maybe he doesn't connect with their value system, the language that they speak, or for whatever reason they are there that he doesn't feel connected and he can't find. It's not that he doesn't have people over there. There's still people, right? So then we have to understand these things that what is it that is stopping me from finding someone that I can reconnect. So am I finding it like a job, or is it draining me? Just the thought that, oh, now I have to get up and do this work again. I have to find another person, connect with them. So those kind of questions need to be answered. That what is it? Some people might be thinking that I can't trust last person I trusted so much, and I thought that we connected so well, and then they did something, and they broke my trust, and I can't really uh, put myself out there anymore to trust. So that is fine. And understand one thing that just because we have done work on ourselves, on our past wounds, doesn't mean that new wounds will not be created. So you fall sick, you have a fever, you take medicine. That doesn't mean you will not have fever for the rest of your life. You will have fever again. This is the same thing. If you have done self work on yourself and you have healed your past traumas and past wounds and all that, that's good. Now you have come in a good, healthy state. But you're still human being. You're still dealing with people. Life is not over yet. You still have more lessons to learn. More difficult situations, more difficult people will come in your life. They will again wound you. So you will again get hurt. But now, since you have gone through the healing process, you know what it takes and you can heal yourself quicker again. So don't go by the assumption that I've already done work on myself. So now I don't have to work on myself again. No, it's not like that. Even if you have done work on yourself, a person has come who has shaken your trust and who has done something. Again, new wounds have been created. So you have to work on that so you can start to see what is stopping you from loving and connecting with the other person now, because love and connection is our core human need. It will not go away anywhere. It will only bother you if you don't see it and if you try to focus on other things and not address the elephant in the room. It was a very long answer. I don't know if that made any sense.
Absolute
Did it make sense to you, Sajal?
Actually, it did. It made great sense. Thank you.
Great, great. So I would just like to add something to what Akarma said. So coming to the point, I guess Sajal was also trying to ask that when in the present moment he's getting thoughts that he's lonely, what should be the action, step to take at that point of time? And Sajal, you use the word normalize. So normalize, by the word normalize, what I am understanding is that this is how it is going to be, right? And that's not how. Did you mean it that way?
No, actually, I
Okay,
thought
great.
it's like it's just what's being felt correctly, but not something like that can happen in the future also.
Okay, if that is so, then that's great. because will you go by the language that it's okay to feel lonely right now, like just right now. So it's not, it's we won't, because a lot of times it happens that I've seen people, and I've seen like people who have been talking about all of these things, and acceptance is a part of it. And when they say acceptance, they start saying that, you know, I got diabetes, and I'm now, it's gonna be there, like now my life, now I have accepted it. And by accepting it, they probably mean that now I'm going to suffer like this for the rest of my life, and I have to accept it. And that's not how acceptance is. So good that you were not asking it that way. I was just clarifying it for the sake of other people. Ashwini, you want to say something? You'll have to unmute yourself, Ashwini.
Yeah, I would have liked to say something, but I'm sitting in a cafe and listening to you all.
Okay.
I don't know. I was one of the, I attended because I was one of the first people to vote for this topic. And I felt it was like my moral responsibility to attend since I was one of the influencers. Anyways, yeah, I couldn't, like, I wouldn't say that I missed some of Akarna's talk, so I think I missed some of the key things, I suppose. But I got the main thing. And what Trisha said also made a lot of sense. I find my loneliness very overwhelming and too much to talk about, even. I've been, but in fact, so much so that I don't even acknowledge it most of the time. And I made a lot of sense when Atharva said that, you go through this kind of trust, you get fever, you get better, then it sounds so much more simplified than complicated emotional equations when you say it like that, about trust issues and things like that. Because people who
Yeah.
haven't gone through our kind of, or rather, I would say my kind of situations, I'd not to say that I'm something special, that they don't really have any idea, and then that gets sometimes complicated, because human beings tend to interpret in terms of what we have experienced before most of the times. Yeah, so yeah, I find my
Yeah.
loneliness overwhelming, and I'm not sure if that was touched upon, but I was glad to feel that most people do feel lonely and they have the same kind of issues that I do. Sorry, I'm laughing.
So all the lonely people can make a union so they don't feel lonely.
Yeah, true.
Um,
Right.
Yeah.
Brilliant idea. Yeah.
I see. The reason I said that is because we hear that a lot from people who feel confused that I have been doing self work on myself, and then they feel confused that it is still happening. And I constantly tell them one thing, that either the method you are applying is not correct, that is possible. So I'm not doubting that you are not doing hard work. So you are doing it. So no doubt about that. So I'm not doubting that part. Um, it's possible that maybe the medicine that you are taking is not correct medicine. That's first thing. Second thing, maybe the medicine is correct and you're not eating it correctly. So you think that you have healed and then you haven't healed it yet. And the third part is, if the situation is coming and you say that I used to have trust issues and I worked on myself and now I don't have trust issues. And then as soon as you get into this situation, and the first thing that someone would say that, oh, I can't really get in a new relationship because I can't trust, then that itself is showing it's not complete. So one thing which I don't understand, that why anyone would have to very quickly conclude that my healing is complete. Well, what is so hurry about it, and why it needs to be taken in a way as if you are doing something wrong and you have to complete quickly finish it. So take your time, heal yourself as long as it takes. Do that, and life will tell you whether you have got there or not. Why you have to self declare? Life will bring you situations again to show you that whether that has been healed or not healed. And say for example, even if you have done that work, and even if your trust issues are healed, that means there will be always people who will come and break your trust and do that, but you will not be affected. So you will not feel that I can't trust people anymore. You will trust again. So if you have really healed your trust issues, you will have no problem in people breaking your trust, and you will become trustworthy again. That is what a healed state would look like. Whatever you feel, that whether that is a very good state or not, and all that, that will all be judgment around it. I'm just sharing that how a healed person who doesn't have trust issues anymore would approach life. They would have no problem that somebody would come and break their trust, because they understand that people are like that, and it is their choice that they are knowing all that, they are still trusting, and it is very much possible that the person they are trusting is going to break their trust, and if that person breaks their trust, they will not stop. They will move on, and they will trust again. That shows those issues are gone. So that part is healed. However, life is still there. Trust issues are not there. Some other issues will come up. So some other more next level challenge will come in life. Life hasn't finished, otherwise we'll be dead. So if you are still alive, that means the game is still on. And if the game is still on, that means a new higher level challenge is coming your way, and that would, can again wound you. So self work, healing work is not like we are done and dusted, and I'm done with it. So I've spent 1 year, I've spent 2 years, and now I'm done. And for the rest of my life, I'm good. It's not like that. That work, that process that you've been through, 2 years, 5 years, whatever, has taught you how to heal yourself and how to get out of that situation quicker. Earlier it took you 5 years, now it might took you just 5 days. Now it might take you just 5 weeks or 5 months. It won't take you 5 years again, because you've gone through the whole cycle. You know how to deal with this situation. That was the whole point of that exercise, to make you um, heal yourself quicker. So no matter how bigger challenges, bigger wounds come in your life, you'll be able to get out of them, and you'll build that resilience, that tolerance level even more, and withstand more bigger challenges than anybody else. That is how see the healing process, not as a one-time done deal. I've done my time, and that's it. And now I don't know why I keep feeling this again. Now I don't know why I keep feeling. So this will keep you confused if you think like that. Yes, Charan, you want to say something?
Yeah, continuing with my previous discussion, my point was like, suppose if I start from the point of loneliness in finding a partner, so then I will attract a partner who is also feeling lonely, so that will lead to insecure attachment. Or what will happen is like, I will push away the right partner. So that is what happened with me in my past. So my point was like, to create my own happiness irrespective of what happens, and then invite people. So if I start from that point, like it is very tough, like compared to India. Living in Sweden is like very, when you live in Sweden, it is like, as I told you, like, it is a lonely country itself, and I'm alone. So it is a kind of tremendous challenge for me, like to create these routines and to make myself happy. So when I offer, when I will be in that state, so then I will have that confidence, like to invite someone. Otherwise, I will be attracting who are lonely, or I will be attracting people who are not according to my standards. So this is what I meant to say.
Yeah, yeah. That makes sense, Charan. Thank you for sharing more about your story. One another thing that came to my mind when you were talking about this, that a lot of times, see, it's very human to feel boredom, right? But boredom and loneliness are very different things. So um, boredom, I wouldn't say that it's a very healthy state to be in, because then that also shows that we have not learned enough ways to stimulate ourselves. But it's very natural that, you know, something goes on, and we are busy in our regular lives, and then something else comes up, and maybe we don't have anything to do and we feel bored. That is a different story altogether. But feeling lonely is very different. It's being in that state where it is kind of troubling you. There is this disconnect that you feel in that state, right? Now, I just wanted to summarize this conversation, because there was this thing that Akarma mentioned, that love and connection are our needs. So that is the first thing that we need to get like straight heads on, that we all have needs. It's very natural and normal and human, because we are manifested, we are created on this plane. So we all have our fundamental needs, and love and connection being one of those needs. Now, the second point is that because of how we are born, we somehow assume that we connect this need of ours with our survival, right? And we feel that whenever the love and connection is threatened in our life, we feel that our survival is threatened, and we start feeling all the dense emotions coming up, and loneliness being one of those emotions. So what we need to remember is that as children, yes, our survival was dependent on people around us, on our parents. But the thing is that now we are adults. So because this is so ingrained in ourselves, that we start, this is like a complete mixture that we have created. So we need to learn in this process that we start seeing that these two things are very different. Feeling that need of loving somebody, of connecting with somebody, or to belong with someone is different than the survival instincts that we get. Because that is the third point that I wanted to come onto. Because we operate from that state of survival, we think that we have to do that. We have to be with people, and we depend on the external reward mechanism and all the external stimuli only to make us feel that way, because internally we feel that our survival is threatened. So we have to first become aware that we don't have to mix these things. It's very human to have that need of love and connection, but it doesn't have to come from the space of neediness. And to not be in that space of neediness in itself means that we learn healthier ways to connect, right? Because connection is a need. So we learn healthier ways to meet our needs, rather than just meeting those needs through our external rewards. So bringing our attention from the external reward system to the internal guidance system, right? And that doesn't mean that we will now not connect. Now internal means now I'm going to live in the jungle. It only means that when this need arises, I'm not all hushy-bushy and I start running behind people that, oh my God, now if you don't meet this need of mine and I'm gonna die. Not that way. Coming back, taking a pause, bringing awareness to, okay, I have this need, I want to love, I want to connect, right? And then all the healing process we have already talked about, and coming to a healthier state that, okay, these are my needs. These are getting clarity about that. Yes, I have those needs. And then getting clarity about now, what is my expression of life? How do I want to share it with, people? So I get into the space that I'm not always looking after that, how people can meet my need, but because my needs, I know the healthier ways of meeting my needs. Now I am in the space where I want to share it with other people, that let's enjoy together, or let's connect. Or sometimes when nobody's there, I'm like, okay, fine, I'm fine here also, I'm fine there also. It's like being fine in both places. So that was the gist of what we were talking about. And that doesn't mean that you will never feel lonely. It's a journey, and all of these emotions are um, a part of our human nature. So they are coming to guide us about something. So um, rather than just getting into the fight or flight response, we can connect with that emotion and see what it is guiding us towards.
Lalli and Ashwini, is your hand? Did you want to say anything, or your hand is up? Uh, Still plus. Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. Lalli, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
If we have time, I'll be very quick. I was just thinking when all have I felt lonely. So one was when there was something I wanted to speak out. Usually I talk to my son about it and he's not reachable on that particular day or time. And then I felt lonely. And another time was when I couldn't handle my work or housework, and then I found there was no person to help me, and then I felt lonely. So I was thinking, so besides that problem, that okay, there wasn't an answer or I couldn't address the problem. There was also an afterthought along with that. Okay, I don't have that person around to talk to, or this work was not done. And then there are repeated thoughts that follow along with that. And thoughts follow thoughts, and then loneliness happens. I've worked alone abroad. I mean, no, that those are the 2 points I wanted to put across. That's all.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks, Lalli. Mhm. Anyone else has anything to say?
Karma, your what you said and Anamik also were so insightful. Uh, so I mean, although I was not dwelling on loneliness at this point of time, but still it gave me insights on where we can even prevent loneliness, and we can develop ourselves so much. So those thoughts were very insightful. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Lalli.
Lily.
Um, Trisha, Suchi, Seema, you anything you have to say?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm good too.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else on the call has anything to add before we wrap up? Who hasn't spoken? Kavita, Nita, Nili, yeah, Chaitra,
No,
Bharat.
sir. Nothing to it. Nothing to it. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. No problem. Okay. So yeah. So I think as a final comment, I would say that if there are still thoughts around it that why you are feeling lonely when there are so many options out there, then just explore that part. So don't feel pressured that you have been doing so much of self work on yourself and still you are feeling it this way. It's okay. It's okay to feel that way. Just understand that the journey hasn't complete. There's still more to go, and whatever thoughts come, whatever resistance come, because of that you are not able to um, connect with other people. And usually the common reason that we hear is lack of trust. So that is one common reason that we hear, that are not able to trust. So see that. So see through that, that what is it that you are not able to trust in the other person, and what it is about. Because trust is not something that you will get from the other people. I've used this example with people earlier also, I mean, earlier calls, that a bird sitting on a tree trusts her own wings, not the strength of the branch. So it's not that it will not sit on the branch if it's strong or not. It trusts its own wings. So if you are not able to trust another person, then there is something not complete within you, and that doesn't mean that people out there will not use you or will not fool you or all that. That's not the point here. They will, and you can't do anything about it. That's the point here. That you cannot control that. There will be people out there who are users, abusers, and everything. But if you know how to handle it, if you have learned how to handle it, then that's it. Then it shouldn't really be a case anymore that until you get a guarantee that the other person is not going to be a user or a abuser anymore, then only I will. Then still the healing is not complete. We will not call it that the healing is complete. So still more is remaining. You have to trust your own wings, and until you can trust your own wings, work needs to continue. Once when you have full trust on your own wings, you will see that there is no such thing as loneliness anymore. When people will come in your life who will be users, abusers, this, that, either you will be able to see through them, you will be able to know how to maintain boundaries with them, how to maintain distance with them, but you will not be shy from experimenting. You will not be shy from going out, talking to more people, connecting with more people. You will know how to set boundaries. You will know how to maintain your distance from those people who are this or that. You will not be operating from unhealthy, insecure attachment styles anymore, and those people will get filtered out from your life. So earlier, you had to go through the whole game of gaining that experience and and and, and going through the whole thing. But now you won't have to. You will just notice it within them, and you will know that no, this person is not for me, and you will be able to very quickly filter out. But it will not prevent you from going and exploring. It will not prevent you from experimenting. If you are still finding that you cannot explore and experiment, then that's still a wound which is unhealed. So that needs to be looked into further. That's pretty much from my side. If there is nothing more, then we can wrap up the call. Can you, what is it? Can you, you can talk if you want to.
Yeah, so I was just saying, maybe like I'm practicing self-love. So like I shared that I don't feel lonely all the time. It's few of the times where I feel that, yeah, wait, I guess, yeah. So there are times when I feel lonely, and like I can see the difference between the codependency and not being dependent anymore. So because for the very long time I've been like that, my mind and body are maybe used to it. So maybe I don't feel lonely, but because I've been dependent for so long, so can my mind and body like
No,
manage?
it's not like that. No. It's not like that, that your mind and body is. We are said that self love is not a replacement of connection with another human being.
Yeah, yeah.
So don't see it like that, that I've been practicing self love and still I feel that. Again, you are going in, we already said that it's not one or the other, it's both.
Okay.
You have to do both. You have to, self love is not a replacement of connection with another person. If you are not doing that, if you're not doing self-love, then you are practicing insecure attachment style. Then you become a parasite. But once you have healed your insecure attachment styles, you are practicing self-love, then that doesn't replace the need for a connection with another human being. You still need that. So maybe earlier you needed a lot of it for every small thing that you could have just done it yourself. And
Yeah.
now you have realized that no, not for everything I need, but for some things I still want another human being touch.
Mm.
And that is fine. That is
Oh,
totally okay. You cannot replace it by practicing self love more. So it's not like that. It's not like that we ask you to do pranayams and you are doing good pranayams and everything every morning. You are now an expert in pranayam, and then you say, I'm doing pranayam, but I don't know why I feel like eating food also now. There is
yeah,
no replacement of that,
yeah. That
right?
today's conversations have made a lot um,
These
clarity on
two
this sense.
different things. So these two different things, and both need to be acknowledged that
Yeah.
both of these things are there. So when we talk about connection, love and connection flows both ways for self as well as for others. So
Yeah.
you have to have love and connection with yourself and love and connection with other people. So it has to be both ways. Just doing one is not going to be fulfilling enough. So now, if you say that I have done self love and now I don't need don't feel the need for another person for everything, but there are certain things I still feel that I need to have a partner or something. That's fine. Then just go out and start looking for that kind of person. And if you
Yeah.
now the question comes that, oh, but I can't because I feel I can't trust anybody or I can't. Then look into that part.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe it's not like I'm saying. Maybe I couldn't put it correctly in the first place. I was just trying to say this that sometimes self love is there, everything is there, but I still have that need. So
And we
I
all
was
have that.
thinking, yeah. So I was thinking that why I'm thinking like this. Maybe it's wrong to think
Because
like
that's
that
human.
because
No, that's human need. That is why I clarified it when Lali was talking about
yeah,
self-love.
yeah,
Then I said that it's the basic, it's fundamental.
true,
Self-love has to be there.
yeah,
So that's like first correcting the basics. So we have corrected the basics and we've done our homework and we've practiced self-love. And now we are more empowered to go out and look for more empowering relationships with other people.
hmm, okay,
So now it doesn't come from neediness.
yeah,
There is a difference between being needy and the needs. So the need is there. That's the core human need.
yeah,
But it's not coming out of neediness. It's not coming out of any kind of fear, or it's not coming out of anything that I'll be left alone, I'll die alone, I don't know what will happen of me, and you feeling depressed and all that. That's neediness.
hmm,
So when that neediness is gone, the need to connect with another human being will still be there.
yeah, yeah. Actually, it's not basically coming from the neediness. It's basically like I have that kind of you can say what word we can have for this like
We have
it's
the
not
need. That's
neediness.
what I'm saying. It's a need. It's our need to feel connected and love. So now you're saying that I still have that need, and I'm saying that then good. Then start exploring and start checking that who can be that person. And when that question comes in your mind, when you are about to explore, and if some resistance, some hesitation comes in your mind around it to say,
Hmm.
if something is preventing you from going out and exploring, then
Yeah.
work on that.
Okay. Like for me, for example, it is like um, I didn't had a good experience, so I feel it's a waste of investing time. It won't work it out. Then the trust issues So I think I
Correct.
need to look at
So you
look at.
need to work on that because the more you can keep telling that for yourself, but you know that internally you won't feel fulfilled.
Yeah, yeah, actually.
Yeah. So note those things down. That what is it that is preventing you from doing that, and then look into those things. What can you? How can you solve those problems now?
Right, right. Thank you.
Hmm.
Right. So there has been a lot of talk on self-love that all of us have done. So I was just thinking that let's keep the next call on self-love only. So, but still,
Great.
Seema, just for you, I have this. I've asked you to explore this question that when
Yeah,
does self, where does self begin and where does it end? Right.
yeah,
So,
we had that. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like,
yes. So
yeah,
now the
yeah.
thing is that let's suppose you're a drop in the ocean. So I'm just giving you the food for thought, so that you can go through it when you arrive on the next call.
Yeah, thank you
Till
so
then, for a week, use it.
much.
So
Right.
I am a drop in the ocean, and you're also a drop in the ocean, right? And we come out from the same ocean. So now I get in that ocean, and you also get in that ocean. How would you distinguish between you and me and the ocean itself?
I definitely going to think about it. I don't want to answer randomly anything that is coming to my mind. It's a good question.
Don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't have to answer it, but um, this is like taking it, we 10 steps ahead of the new age concept of self love we usually talk about.
Hmm.
So this is 10 steps ahead, right?
Okay.
So and this can be confusing, but it's okay because you are there, we are there. So anything, any question you have, we are there to answer.
Yeah.
Right. So otherwise, to somebody who's a stranger, I wouldn't ask this question.
Yeah.
But we are together, so I'm just asking this, contemplate on this, and let's have a talk on self-talk next, self-love next week.
Yeah.
I
Maybe
actually
maybe you can
actually
post it on the group also. Many people can think because I would love to know like different perspectives about it. I'm surely going
Hmm.
to contemplate about it because I'm actually thinking only.
Yes, yes. Cool. Let's see how we can frame it and post it in the group. Shuchi, you were saying something?
yeah. So I felt very happy the moment you said next topic would be self-love, because my loop started like of thoughts when we were discussing about self-love, that I ask again and again. My questions don't stop about self-love, and I was thinking maybe one day when I'll experience it totally, then I'll understand it properly. So I felt very happy when you said like next topic is self-love. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, yes. We will talk about it. Cool. Cool. Then let's wrap up the call, guys. It's 9 almost. So thank you. Thank you so much,
Thank you so
all of
much.
you. Thanks, Shuchi. Thanks,
Thank
Seema.
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Thanks everyone.
Thanks,
Sharma. Thank
Alicha, and
Bye.
everybody,
Thank
Ashwini.
you.
Thank
Thank you.
thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Nice.